that underdog story of El Salvador, the smallest country, in the Americas, to be able to come back and forge this new path and be that example that inspired me. Like El Salvador in the macro and us in the micro, to be able to do that for our own family, and I think that that's been our spiritual. I mean, the president Nayib Bukele for me has been a huge spiritual leader without ever having said a word to him, but just living off of his example and how he does things and the energy he puts out into the world has really guided me to want to be like him and be able to have that impact of what he does for the Salvadoran society and for the world. I mean, bringing people from all over the world and connecting them here to build. I love that, and
I
I
would love
admire
to
him.
expand on that a little bit. What do you mean by what does it mean to be a spiritual leader? Like how Bukele is taking that role in your opinion. What does that mean? I would love to just hear that explained a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think my first spiritual leader has been my father, and even if he's not with me here physically and in presence, he's always with me in energy and aura and in spirit, and that's where I mean, I just connect to his energy and attract his wisdom from him and put myself in his shoes and what would I do if my dad was here, or what would my dad do in this situation? What would my dad tell me to do in this situation? And that's been huge for me because I don't go based off what I think. I would go based off of that. And same with the president Nayib Bukele. I always put myself in what would the president do, or what would be
Mm,
the best decision for everybody around you? Because I think it's the
mm,
easiest thing to do as a person is to be selfish and to think about your own benefit, to think about what benefit am I going to have right now in the present moment. It's really hard to think to be have forward thinking, and to make sure that everybody that surrounds you is good, and I think that's the definition
mm.
of love. If everybody that is around you is okay and that makes you okay, then you have love for humanity, you have love for society and for the Salvadoran community like the president shows it. So, I think
Wow.
for me it's just based off of that, and just seeing what he's been able to do and with the wisdom that he does it and the humility that he does it and how much fun he has doing it. It seems like, right? I mean, I've never spoken to him, but that definitely inspires me and it makes me want to be like him. And I think it's a world that's very short of good role models for young
Mm.
men and for people, So I think that I've been able to adopt him as a role model and somebody that I want to be like and aspire to create an impact like that.
It's made me aware just how important strong leadership is. Prior to this, especially in the United States, where our leadership are corrupt politicians, who are basically selfish parasites. To see a leader like him emerge, who has strong conviction in God, right, and cares deeply for his people, and actually does the stuff that he says he's going to do, was an incredible breath of fresh air and very inspirational. And realizing how inspirational that is made me realize that, yeah, we need strong leaders to step up, right? And because it really moves other people to follow suit, right? They become an example for how we should live our lives. And so my whole thought process on having strong leadership at the top has changed because I realized just how impactful it can be for each individual and then society as a whole.
And I do believe that from El Salvador, a new society will arise. I think everything is lining up, and I think Bitcoin is pivotal in that. It really, I mean, follow the money, and you'll see where all the problems are. And with Bitcoin, you have perfect, sound money that will allow a new society to flourish because our current society is all based around the corrupt financial system, around fiat system. So I think El Salvador has all the conditions to create a new society. And I mean, I've heard Stacey Herbert say it a lot that it's going to be like Florence 2.0, the things that are going to happen here and that already are happening here. And I think it's also hard to be able to, I mean, you have 50 years of retrograde here in El Salvador, and you've had 5 years of his first term, right? So it's hard to be able to, I mean, progress 5 years after 50 years of
He's done a lot
difficulties.
though in that time, right? I feel like the last 5 years has been him setting the foundation,
Absolutely.
and now the next 5 years of his presidency is going to be building towards the future. That's the way I see it.
And you have like children in public school learning how to run their own node. You have them getting a full Bitcoin education, on the basics of things. So I think he's definitely planning for 20 years from now, 30 years from now, what is El Salvador going to be? And I think strong leadership empowers individuals to be strong individuals. And I think that's the most important thing, what we've been talking about, that mindset, that spirituality, that God driven purpose is what's going to allow a country to flourish, because it's, I mean, I think you can have strong leadership, but one man can't do it all. You need the community, you need civilians to step up and forge their own path and be those, transmit that message from the top. And I think he's doing a great job of that. And having people think differently. I mean, Jiro Krishnamurti has this saying, like, we've evolved so much on technology, food, medicine, all these different aspects of our material life, but we're still the same barbarians, you know, with emotions that we have. So, and attitudes and behaviors. So I think those are the important things to be able to bring on to the next generation, you know, to the children now, to let them know that there's a new way of life, and starts within, you know, and fixing within, then you're gonna have an amazing world. But if we're all inward driven and spirituality driven, then I think everything else would just be a result. But if we try to control the outer aspects, they're very important, obviously, like the economical things, but everything surges from how abundantly wealthy spiritually are you, you know?